Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us on Gabon News. We start tonight's show with sports and international friendly. Last Sunday, Gabon and Rwanda clashed at the Monédan Stadium in Libreville. The match ended 1-0 in favor of Rwanda, who had also won the home leg in Kigali. Following the Panthers' loss in Rwanda in an international friendly, the stand-in captain, Aaron Apidangoy, gave his first impressions.
We weren't expecting to lose. We lost last week in Kigali because we weren't used to the synthetic pitch. We came here with the intention to win, but unfortunately, we didn't.
After 2 straight losses, the Panthers' interim coach gave his evaluation.
I think that for us, the overall results are positive. It's never nice to lose 2 games in a row, but I think that compared to the first game, we showed more determination.
Jorge Costa will now have a basis on which he'll be able to choose players and form a squad he will want to work with.
These matches gave him the opportunity to observe. The players gave it their best, and now he'll choose from those who he thinks are worthy for a call-up to the national team.
Jorge Costa will now have to get to work immediately to select a group ahead of the 2015 AFCON Cup qualifiers. And now we move on to education, where nearly 100 students gathered at the St. Mary Cathedral in Libreville in protest to the latest exam results. According to them, they call it an injustice regarding that most of their results obtained from last year were ignored this year. A group of students adjourned from this year's baccalaureate exam gathered at the St. Mary Cathedral in Libreville to protest over the results.
Last year, we were told to take part in the first part of the baccalaureate exam, and we passed. However, after proclamation of this year's results, we found out that they ignored last year's exam, which means we all failed. My daughter is a victim of this masquerade. We went to the Education Ministry to demand explanations, but the minister asked us instead to form a group and sign a petition with names and phone numbers. But it's rubbish. He should have all this information already.
All eyes are now turned to the president, who will be sought to resolve this crisis. Why was their situation not clarified? Did the ministry invalidate last year's Bac 1 results? In any case, the unpopular reforms adopted last year by Séraphin Mundunga continue to affect the education system in Gabon. We stay in education as the student uproar prompted by the final results of the exam has brought one unionist to the forefront, and who has taken up the defense of these students who were victims of what he called mediocre reforms. Following the students' protest at St. Mary Cathedral over their baccalaureate results, an education unionist has come forward to defend them.
2 years ago, we unionists opposed the reforms taken by the then minister Séraphin Mundunga. Now the students bear the brunt of the consequences. These students who should have taken part in this year's exam are now victims of these mediocre reforms.
Who is responsible for this situation? For Mr. Mvemba, all fingers point to the government, and one man in particular. Parents and students have vowed to continue protesting here until the situation finds a solution. And now let's move on the international scene. From May 26th to July 8th, an operation to collect biometric data took place in France for the establishment and renewal of passports. And last Monday, the General Consul of Gabon in France took a step back to review what exactly happened during this operation. From May 26th to 8th of July, a biometric data collection operation took place in France for the establishment and renewal of passports. Although faced with many technical difficulties, the operation managed to collect data from 2,468 Gabonese in France.
Rennes 171,
In Rennes, 171, Bordeaux, 216, Toulouse, 189, Marseille, 160, Lyon, 188, Strasbourg, 96, Lille, 202, and Paris, 1,246.
Tout en se félicitant de ces chiffres qui sont
The Consul of Gabon in France welcomes these figures, identical to the 2013 campaign, but deplores the attitude of some Gabonese who failed for various reasons to present themselves on time for the operation.
Pour éviter les désagréments constatés
We all have to
lors
take
de
our
cette
responsibilities and be aware of the efforts made by the highest authorities to facilitate these administrative procedures.
To avoid further problems, the Council announced that new measures will be adopted, including the establishment of a data collection center in Paris. Still on the international scene in France, Jean Ping, a former leader of the Gabonese Democratic Party, had recently given an interview on French television. His statements when he criticized harshly the current president Ali Bongo Ondimba were also criticized by members of the PDG in France. The members of the Gabonese Democratic Party in France gathered recently to rebuke Mr. Jean Ping's statement on French television, in which he declared that Ali Bongo Ondimba was leading Gabon essentially with foreigners and that he was driving the country into a wall.
Every Gabonese has the right to demand accountability from the leaders, but is he credible? One day, when he presents himself for the presidency, he will be asked the same questions.
Je tremble au niveau des lèvres parce que
I'm surprised that a former leading member of the party could say such things, he who served in the country's administration for 40 years.
Jean Ping is seen as one of the major contenders for the 2016 presidential race, and despite his strong words against the president, the members of the PDG France are not worried, putting forward the many accomplishments of current President Ali Bongo Ondimba. Thank you for your time and patience. Keep up to date with news happening in Gabon on en.gabonnews.com, and also keep up to date with us by following us on Twitter and Facebook. From all the team here at Gabon News, we thank you for making us your source of information.